Back on the show, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, and I've got a real treat in store for you. I mean, how would you like to unlock your company's potential by integrating remote workers to elevate your organization? Privileged to have an amazing friend, an amazing colleague who I've worked with in many capacities over the past decade or so, and that's Menash Zadik, who is a seasoned business professional with 25 years of diverse experience in general business operations and actually real estate. And he co-founded Doerly Works after an impactful tenure in a large real estate platform based throughout the Midwest and Florida. So he certainly has a front row seat to the challenges that businesses face. Thank you so much for joining us. Excited to have you on. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Shalom.
Absolutely. You started your career at Accenture, where you consulted some of the world's leading companies on IT and change management issues. And then, as we said, you've been involved in that world of entrepreneurship. So let's talk about the story behind Doerly Works. How did you discover what, the need that exists?
Sure. So I'm going to take us back about 5 years ago. I was COO of a fairly decent size real estate platform that had a total of 6 or 7 different companies in that space. And each company had its own management structure, operations, and et cetera. So as the COO of the parentship, I was trying to figure out a way to reduce costs across the board in a way that's not going to hurt operation, and at the same time give us some flexibility as we were sailing into some rough waters. We knew that this upmarket isn't going to last forever, and some flexibility in your fixed cost structure is going to be beneficial. So I started looking at different solutions and quickly kind of settled on virtual assistants, because for most companies, the biggest 2 lines of expenses are rent and payroll. There's not much I can do about rent in real estate. I cannot move a building to a cheaper location, but I can certainly find ways to do that with payroll. And that was kind of the beginning of the journey. We did quite a lot of research on where to find these people, what type of jobs, how to set it up properly so they don't fall off after 2 or 3 weeks, like seems to be the case for a lot of companies. And we took our first person in about 3.5, 4 years ago. And about a year later, I think the company had already 50 of them. And so if you think about the average savings of a virtual assistant versus a US employee, is about 65 to 70%. You can imagine what it did to the overall payroll of each individual company in our enterprise, and obviously the mothership as well.
Absolutely, that's huge, and I love the name of the business. Again, we're chatting with the founder of Doerly Works, and you have Doers, because that's exactly what companies are looking for. Menash, it's one thing that I think a lot about is how every business is unique, and there's honestly, like a fingerprint, there's no one size fits all over here. So let's talk about the behind the scenes piece of what your doers do and where you source them. Again, how you can take, let's just go with a law firm, for example, a law firm that's looking to has a need. Let's take them behind the scenes through that process and what you and your team are able to accomplish for them. And frankly, as you said a moment ago, so spot on, save them money.
Sure. In fact, we actually just got an assignment yesterday to find someone for a law firm. We enter the process as if we are the HR department of that company here in the US. So we go through the process of creating a job description. We try to be as specific as we can about the tasks, about the role, any requirement that the person needs to have in terms of skill set, education, background, experience. And then we go and try and find that specific individual. That is, I don't have a farm of 1,000 people somewhere and I just stick them where a client needs, but rather it's more of a rifle or a sharpshooter approach where we try to find the best person for that specific role. Once we have all the information, we start our search. Every single one of our doers comes from the Philippines, and we can get a little bit into cultural fit and level of education. But on our end, we seem to find the best talent there. The process then is once we go through the first round of interviews, and for a lot of tasks, we actually have tests to give these folks. We start putting them in front of the client. And that's going to be a normal job interview. Obviously, everything is done over video. And once a client is comfortable with the person that they see and say, we want to hire them, we take care of all the paperwork. So the client in the US is hiring us as a consulting firm, basically. And then we interact with the doer in the Philippines. What it gives the US employers two things. One, there's no HR issue with this person anymore. So if for any reason, whether it's job performance or because business is down and you need to cut staff, you want to stop using that services, it's a 30-day notice and you're done. It's easy. And at the same time, you can scale up your business fairly quickly without having to go through the process of hiring in the US, which, as we know, can take sometimes 2 or 3 months to find the right candidate.
No question about it. We're chatting about the power of doers, why companies should choose Doerly Works for, again, the meticulously selected remote support for a wide range of businesses. I know we just used the example of a law firm, but I know that there's many other examples. Menash, I have to ask, a question that I know our listeners will be wondering on. I mean, ultimately, when you are sourcing from the Philippines, what's the level of English? Are they working on their hours, or are they actually working to support the business? I mean, are they working U.S. hours? Talk about the language, the hours, and customer service side of things as well.
Yeah, that's a great question. We have taken the philosophy that for the U.S. employer, that doer needs to be just like any other employee or any other contractor that they're engaging with in the U.S. That means I'm not expecting the U.S. employer to know what day it is in the Philippines, what time it is in the Philippines, or whether it's a holiday in the Philippines. We take care of all that. So all of our doers are going to work 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 10 to 6 or whatever their employer in the US needs them to work, unless the employer themselves give them permission to, just get work done and give them a deadline and time and a place. So it really depends on the employer. We have people that the doers are on a screen, just like any other member of the team, 8 hours a day, and then everyone shuts systems off and go home. And other clients have a bit more project type work for their doers. And so they'll give them something and say, please get it back to me in 4 days. And you don't need to necessarily talk to me every day until then. So it's really client driven. And we on the back end then continuously check. We provide weekly reports to our clients about how the doers are doing. Anytime we integrate new technology, it is delivered to the doers on the back end. So, for example, things like how to work with AI tools. We are training our doers on the back end, and so the client is benefiting from that training without having to worry about it.
Perfect. And we only have time for just about one more minute. And
sure.
I'm curious, as we talk, legal, what are some of the other areas of support that you're hearing from your clients and that you've been able to source doers in? Anything you want to shout out on?
Yeah, I mean, like rapid fire in accounting, accounts payable and receivable, bookkeeping, payroll processing, financial reporting. On social media, we've done content creation, scheduling and posting, responding to comments and messages, and obviously performance analysis. We have doers that are more in EA roles, so appointment scheduling, meeting, travel. We have HR doers. We have data entry folks, project management, research, almost anything you can think of that doesn't involve them getting up and delivering something physically, we can solve.
Amazing. Again, Doerly Works, incredible services helping companies save money and accomplish more. Focus on what they do best and allowing others to step in, which it sounds like it's a broad range of areas. So I know our listeners are curious, and I want to make sure our listeners know where they can get in touch with you and your talented team. How can they do that?
Sure. You can find us at doerlyworks.com. That's DOERLYWORKS.com. Or you can email m@doerlyworks.com. That's me.
Absolutely. Doerlyworks.com. We'll link in our show notes as well. m@doerlyworks.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Quick break here on the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We'll be right back.